Since 2006, Global Resorts Network has been one of the top-selling travel clubs in the world. We've produced millions in sales volume and have sent commission checks to affiliates in over 25 different countries. Now, after passing the elusive 5-year mark of success and stability where over 90% of other businesses fail, we are positioned to take our cutting-edge travel membership deeper into the retail and the online markets, and position our affiliates as the highest rewarded marketers in the entire home business space. Global Resorts Network has a vision to become a household name over the next 5 years, and that vision will be made complete only as we empower our affiliates better than any other company for bringing the GRN product to the masses. Starting Thursday, December 15th, 2011, GRN is taking a giant leap forward in becoming a household name. This important video explains how. Greetings from Mark Hoverson. Welcome to this possibly the most important video I've ever done with Global Resorts Network. Let me explain why, and let me get to it right away. We also have on the line, we have some leaders, some superstars in GRN that are going to come on in just a couple minutes, so hang tight because you're going to hear from Michelle Pescosolido, you're going to hear from Adam Holland, you're going to hear from Glenn and Dee Dee, you're going to hear from Eric Wilkes, you're going to hear more from me, and we're absolutely pumped. But here's a short story, and this is how the epiphany goes down. 1 week of timeshare ownership. The average is $16,000 for someone to buy 1 week. Now, again, this is to existing GRNers. You guys will understand the language. But the average week, 1 week, that's 7 days, is $16,000 plus $745 per year in maintenance fees forever. Only 1 week per year. Complicated exchange rates come with that, and then the 20-year hard cost of using this membership 1 week per year, we had some teammates do some estimations, over $40,000. There was different calculations that came through, but the cost of the alternative of buying GRN, what people are spending $4.6 billion last year on, costing them over $40K over the course of 20 years. Now, with GRN, you're getting exact membership offered through other channels at up to $15K. We've talked about how we are an affiliate for our travel provider, and our travel provider has brick and mortar affiliates that sell our identical membership for $15K, and you compare it to the alternative, and GRN offers 10 weeks of use per year. The weeks are cheaper than the owner's maintenance fees, meaning our weeks are oftentimes $398 for the week. It's easy to pick a destination over 5,000 resorts in our network versus the complicated exchange rates, and there's no annual fee. So what GRN does is it has an amazing value over the alternative. Now stick with me, I'm going to tell you why this is so important. And this is the story that really changed the focus and direction of GRN for the affiliates. So stay with me here now. While I was in Waikiki it was about a month ago, I met a man who was selling via hotel meetings, a $7,000 to $9,000 membership. Now what he would do is he would get tourists into the hotel and he'd sell them a $7,000 to $9,000 membership, and it included up to 4 weeks of use per year. So it was a 4-week membership per year. The weeks were $799 to $999, and hot weeks were $499. Now compare that to us. Our most expensive thing is $799. We have 10 weeks, more than double the usage, and our hot weeks are over $100 cheaper, and they have less available inventory and selection of resorts than we do with GRN. Plus, they have a $249 per year membership fee. So here's what happened. I met this guy, and he does hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars per month selling this membership. And after I looked at the comparison of the alternative to the $4.6 billion people are spending in timeshare, plus people in Waikiki every day, multiple people spending $7,000 to $9,000 for a membership that was inferior to ours. Here was the conclusion that I came up with, and it was a really intense heart conclusion, is that GRN is radically underpriced. It's radically underpriced, which actually leads us to some serious problems. Number one, the retail buyers actually perceive us as less reputable because we are so cheap compared to the alternatives. For instance, purchasing a week of timeshare, like I said, $16,000, or renting through Expedia, which is usually $2,500 up to $3,500 for the week just in one of our units, Travelocity, and then not to mention the $9,000 membership that the guy in Waikiki was selling. Thus, ironically, our low price makes our offer seem less real and more hyped. I will tell you, when people look at us just from a travel perspective, our low price actually opens the door to suspicion. It's really weird. We've tested this. This was one of the number one objections, is how can you guys be real? You're so cheap. That's very weird. Now, the second major problem is that our thin margin of profit does not allow us for many creative incentives to close the sale. Like for retail buyers, let me give you an example of what a creative incentive would be. Saying that you will pay for their very first use of the membership within the calendar year, like a hot week at $398. So when you got somebody right on the edge and they say their dream is to go to Disney, as an affiliate, right now you really can't say, well, here's what we're going to do. You find a hot week in Orlando, we'll pay for it. You got 12 months to use it. That means your very first vacation, your accommodations, they're on us, $398. With our current margin of profit, you can't do that. Or for a business partner who's looking at it, saying that you'll reinvest $500 of their commission into a proven classified advertising or Facebook ads to give their business an immediate jump start, with a commission of only $1,000 currently, plus really it's only $850 after processing fees, it's not realistic or wise to chop away your commission to provide an incentive. Now, every major company, travel club like Inspirato right now, it's $15,000 to join. Their biggest selling point that they have right now is saying, we put $2,500 towards your first week of vacation. See, they have a lot of margin. They can do something like that. At $1,000, we can't even say we're going to pay for a $398 hot week, and it really limits what you can do incentive-wise to close sales. Now, the problems get deeper, and we're going to hear from our leaders here in a moment on how we solve these, so there is hope. Number 3, our low price also only pays $1,000 commissions, again, actually $850 after the processing's removed, and the rising cost of online marketing. Okay, the prices are going up, the competition's steeping up, along with higher prices of print media, make it difficult to be an aggressive advertiser. This leads to less overall exposure and branding for our product and opportunity, which leads to less social proof, curiosity creation, and the powerful gravity pull that attracts buyers because of our popularity. Let me give you an example. Entrepreneur Magazine. It's one of the most popular magazines. The price of print is actually going up for classified ads. When you're only making $850 per sale, it's kind of painful to put an ad in that's going to cost you $300 or $400 into Entrepreneur Magazine, because you have to make a sale to be profitable on that. And what happens is the thin margin of profit, it just doesn't cause people to risk their advertising exposure. And without much exposure, the social proof is limited, curiosity is limited. Now imagine if we were paying more on Global and you saw 3 ads in Entrepreneur, all for the travel club. What would happen to the person reading through the classifieds in Entrepreneur? Their curiosity would say, well, what's with this travel club? I've got to go take a look. Right now, because of our thin margin of profit, we're not able to do that. But wait, it gets worse. Number 4, actually working with a new teammate, this is a new teammate in GRN, can be very expensive in terms of time and the emotional investment before they begin to see results. So this is new partners that join. And when they have results, you make money. So this burden of training can be exasperating when you're only making $850 to $1,000 per sale. For instance, I have personally spent at least 4 hours setting up a new teammate who may or may not produce sales. This is taking away from time where I could be making my own sales. And for only $850 of commission, individual training becomes a potentially unwise use of business time. Now watch this video again so you can understand the implications of what I'm talking about. I just brought in somebody recently and I spent 4 hours of my time training them. When it dawned on me that I was paid $850 for that time, it was actually depressing. And I thought to myself, you know what? It'd be a better use of my time to actually just be out there making my own sales. The low margin of profit actually exasperates the training. But wait, there is a solution. And here's the solution. Follow me very closely, then we're going to hear from our leaders. What if you were paid $2,000, $1,800 after the processing fees, by the way, in commission per sale? What if you were paid $2,000 per sale? Number one, you would have double the commission, equating to double the motivation and focus you bring into your business. Number two, you would have much more surplus from the profit margin to buy stuff that you want, plus reinvest a nice chunk back into your business. In other words, $2,000 can pay for a mortgage and it can pay for a car payment. It's a complete game changer. It's double the power. Number three, you'd have more profit margin to create meaningful incentives for people to act now and purchase from you today. Examples: paying for the first hot week in the 12-month calendar, or reinvesting a portion of the new teammates' purchase back into their marketing. $2,000 would completely change the game. But now, what if you were paid $2,000 on each sale from your qualified teammates? Now, imagine this. Instead of making $1,000 passive money, you make $2,000. You would be way more motivated to see them make their first sale. Number two, you'd see more value in training them to become a top producer. Imagine if you have a teammate that does 2 sales a week. That's $8,000 a month in passive income from one teammate. Number three, hey, just imagine what it will feel like to see a $2,000 commission show up in your inbox from an established teammate who just made another sale and you didn't do anything whatsoever. That's called happy times indeed. Number four, you will view your teammates as true assets in your business, and this changes the game significantly from what I was talking about. I made $850 and I spent 4 hours training a guy. Well, what if I made $2,000 and I could reinvest a little bit into his marketing and I made $2,000 on the passive sale? It just changes the game 100%. So here's the good news, and then we're going to hear from some leaders and what they think of this. The good news, no, I would say the great news is this. We are going to pay $2,000 per sale in GRN with a $2,000 matching commission on qualified teammate sales. Number two, unlike any pay change I've ever seen, this only benefits the distributors. The GRN Corporation itself earns less percentage per sale than it did prior. Plus, the processing fee charge used to be $150 on a $1,000 commission. Now, instead of being $300 processing fee on a $2,000 commission, there's only a $200 processing fee. This means if you use the GRN processor, you're making $1,800 a sale. So GRN Corporate is actually making less percentage. I've never seen a pay plan where there's a switch and it benefits the distributors ×2 and the corporation actually makes less money. Show me a network marketing company on the planet that's done that. Finally, when a customer pays through bank wires or e-check, you will receive the full $2,000. Now here's the good news. The Platinum membership is going to $49.95, almost $5,000. We're going to pay $2,000 to the seller, $2,000 upline. And the gold, we're going to make to $29.95. The upgrade to Platinum will be an additional $2,500 within the 3-year period. Now, here's the good news. This upgrade is happening December 7th is when the price increase begins. This means you have a little window of time to get any other prospects in still at the $29.95 level. Now, what I want to do is I want to hear from a couple leaders who I brought on and really hear what they think. You know, is the price increase going to kill GRN because people can't pay for the $49.95? I mean, they're already struggling to come up with $3,000. How can they come up with $5,000? Any other objection? I want to kind of deal with it from a leader standpoint, and we're going to start with Glenn and Dee Dee. Dee Dee, I just unmuted you. Glenn, are you out there? Dee Dee and Glenn, can you
Mark,
hear me?
how are you?
Good. Glenn, my brother, how are you? Is Dee Dee out there? Dee Dee.
Dee Dee?
No, maybe we're live, so maybe Dee Dee.
Oh, okay, here I am.
Dee Dee,
Must
there's
have
Dee
been
Dee.
my-
So Glenn,
Hey.
Dee Dee, we talked to you a little bit about the price increase to $49.95. What's your initial thoughts on it? What are you feeling? What do you think about it? Talk to us.
Well, the first thing, first of all, when you were going through those reasons right there, all of those points were points that have gone through my mind at some point, whether it's working with teammates, and it not being worth the commission, and all those points have gone through my head at some point. So I know I'm not at least, a little bit too weird. But, the this totally makes sense to me. Dee Dee can tell you the whole story about it, but recently, we had an idea that we wanted to not only sell the GRN membership for $3,000, but we wanted to tack on some coaching for an additional $2,000. So, we framed it. We framed the offer in a way that, you're getting $3,000, but then you're getting $2,000, but we're really giving about $5,000 in coaching to the prospect. So, but in addition, so essentially they're getting GRN for free.
Right.
And so that's how we've been framing it. And Dee Dee can tell you the story about it, but for us, we've tried it twice, Mark.
Yep.
We've thrown it out to 2 prospects, and both prospects are now distributors.
And Dee Dee, wasn't it last week? I mean, last week, how many sales did you get?
It was just last week.
And both of those people last week, Dee Dee, were $5,000. They ended up paying a full $5,000 anyway. Is that?
Yes. It all was very recent, just in the last week. So, easily people are paying for this, and we know the money is there. So, I'm excited for this change. Very excited.
Yep. Well, Glenn and Dee Dee, I know I wanted to bring you guys out because I already knew you guys were charging $5,000 and getting it. And so what would be a tip, would you say, because you guys are adding value on top of the $3,000 to get the $5,000. What's just a hint you could say to existing distributors to add value on top of this $5,000 GRN? Because there's no law saying that you couldn't charge an $8,000, $9,000 package with GRN and add coaching.
Absolutely.
But what's just a little tip you can give to add value on top of GRN to make sure that people see the value so they can happily spend that $5K plus to get started? Glenn, you give us one tip. Dee Dee, you give us one, and then we're going to hear from Eric.
Well, for me, it's, when you bring on a distributor, you're obviously you're going to invest your time and your effort into them producing sales. And if you're going to do that for free anyways, our whole thought process was, well, if we're going to invest time into them, we might as well charge them money for it.
Right.
And have them pay us. So that's why so my tip would be coaching.
Okay.
If you're going to spend the time, have them pay you for it.
Right. And or create the program where it's like, here's specifically what you're getting. I know you guys didn't say, we'll just give you some social media coaching, whatever. I'm sure you gave some specifics of results that they would have from that coaching. So it was like a program, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I feel like we're already doing this, and that would be my advice, is to incentivize with personal time, personal one-on-one time, or in a group setting with other teammates where they get to talk to you, get coaching, get training. So I think that's a good incentive to have someone join you in GRN.
I love it. Glenn and Dee Dee, we've got other
huddle webinars, Mark, and that can be done in a group setting as well.
Exactly. Well, Glenn and Dee Dee, we love you guys. Thanks for coming out. We're going to keep moving on. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Absolutely.
All right. That was great to hear from Glenn and Dee Dee. Adam, I'm going to bring you out next because I know you have an appointment to get to. Adam Holland, are you out there? Can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
Adam, if you can speak about roughly 10 times louder, it'll help because it's not coming through.
Yes, I can scream. How's everything going, Mike?
It's never been better. Adam, seriously, a little bit more screaming. But tell me, what do you think of this 5,000, this $49.95? What are you thinking? Just talk to me. What do you think?
Well, my background, obviously, guys, if you guys know me, is I'm just a traffic fiend. I go out there and I harness web traffic, and I can go and generate 1,000 visitors to my website in the next hour if you want me to. But ultimately, it's not about how many visitors you can get to your website. It's about how profitable you can be with those visitors coming to your website. And when it comes to margins, GRN's always been a great pay plan with the $1,000 commission and $1,000 pass-up. But the way that traffic's been going, just the last few months and really the last year or so actually online, lead costs have been getting higher and higher. The competition's getting more, more and more fierce. And especially when we're talking about the travel industry, we're talking about, our price point. We're trying to compete with these timeshare companies that are charging $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for their products. And
right.
people knowing how great the product is, people weren't actually finding us, you know,
Right.
in some of these different markets because we were trying to compete with these really, really high ticket price points. So having just this much, much better margin is going to allow us to go and compete in those areas. And now people that would never otherwise have found Global Resorts Network, we're going to be able to get the name out there a lot more and actually impact, I think, a lot more people, and a lot more families are going to be able to take more vacations, build more lasting memories, and it's going to be a win-win-win for all parties involved.
Oh, Adam, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, literally, all GRN needs is exposure. When it gets exposure, the game is over because owning a timeshare week cannot compare with what we have. Other travel memberships cannot compare with what we have, price-wise and availability-wise, inventory-wise. Pay plan as a biz op, pay plans can't compete with what we have with our product, and it's just fabulous. And the gist of it is, what Adam's saying is the cost of traffic and the competition is getting more fierce. Let's just be honest about this. What you have to have is margin. And margin will allow people to advertise. I know myself with this price increase, I've already been booking magazine ads, and I've never done magazine ads, but now I'm willing to do magazine ads because there's enough margin for me to do it. So Adam, so you're pumped, in other words. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never been part of a company where they give you a 100% raise. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And you guys are actually making, the company is actually making less money to help out the reps to make sure that we get the product out there. I mean, it's a phenomenal move on your part. Thank you, Mark, for actually making this actually happen. And I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely. Adam, thank you so much. Eric Wilkes, let's go. You know what? No, let's shake it up. Let's go feminine. Let's go Michelle Pescosolido. And Eric, we'll save the best for last. Just kidding, Michelle. We all know that you're the best. Just kidding, Glenn and Dee Dee, you're the best. Just kidding, Adam. You're the best. All right, Michelle, live. Yes. Here we are. Michelle Pescosolido, selling machine, rising star in the internet marketing world. What do you think of the $49.95? Talk to me. Talk to me.
I am really pumped about this, and I know the first time that you came and brought this to my attention and told me what we were thinking about doing, I had no negative thought at all. I was completely excited about it because I know, as you said just a little while ago about your time, you spending 4 hours to get somebody set up and you realize you only got paid, $850. For me, investing time, because one of the things that, I take pride in when I work with my team is I do work with them because I'm trying to create leaders in the global resorts community. So they're going to be able to duplicate what I'm doing. And that takes time. It takes a lot of time for me. And by only getting paid $800 something, it's almost, I look at it as, like you said, I mean, I'm spending all this time with somebody that might produce or might not produce. But now, with being able to get this kind of commission, it makes it even more worthwhile to me to sit down and make sure somebody is getting off to the right track and getting onto that fast track quickly. So I'm excited about it. It's definitely a game changer for me and gives me more incentive to even work with my team to get them to start selling this also with that $2,000 commission.
Yeah, well, I know that. I remember the first thing you said once I said, $49.95. You're like, I can sell that. I can sell that. You were absolutely pumped. And so it's going to be just a quantum game changer because, like you said, with the teammate situation, when you're making $2K on their work and you're making $2K when they buy, it's like, you know what? Fine. We'll put 300 of that into Facebook marketing, and then guess what? I'll make 200 to another 2K from buyers from that. It's just it completely. It's more than double changes the game. It's quantum changing the game.
Right, and it changes my mindset of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm spending all this time with somebody, but I only made $850. I got to hurry up and get out and make more sales myself.
Exactly. I love it.
And it's true. So it just kind of evens it out a little bit now. Now I can continue making sales, but not feel the pressure of I've got to make more when I can invest, when it's worth it now for me to invest in a teammate and have them start making sales.
I love it. I love it, Michelle. That was eloquently wonderful.
I appreciate it, Mark. I'm glad you're doing this. It's an awesome move.
All right, awesome. Well, let's wrap up with Eric Wilkes. Eric, I'm unmuting you now. Eric, are you out there?
I'm here. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfect. Eric just made a sale like a second ago or so he's fresh off the deal. Eric, what do you think of the $49.95? Give us your heart. Give us your thoughts.
I couldn't be more excited, with the possibility of earning 2K right out of the gate. And, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said it pays for a mortgage and a car versus just one or the other.
Right.
And then you add in the fact that you can earn a passive 2K commission. That to me is pretty freaking exciting. So
Right.
I believe what you have to realize is that when people see the true value in what you're offering, like you do with our membership, it really doesn't matter the cost. People will find a way to come up with the money. I believe that when you're going to close someone, again, if they see that true value, there's no such thing as not being able to afford something.
Right.
Because they're resourceful. And if they're resourceful enough to come up with 3,000 like they are today, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that they're resourceful enough to come up with 5,000.
Exactly.
So the price increase is a tremendous idea, and at the same time, it gives us now, as the people out marketing it, the opportunity to get super creative with bigger margins.
Right.
We can create incentives, we can create team promotions. There's all sorts of things we can do from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
And to me, what I really like and what I believe is really the cool part of this whole thing is that GRN as a company isn't taking in any more money. Instead, you're taking that money and you're paying out twice as much, which I believe, and I haven't seen anything else out there, officially makes us as a company the best and highest payout in the entire industry.
Yep.
And we're paying out, if you do the math, $5,000 comes in, $4,000 goes out. I don't know if my calculations are correct, but that's an 80% payout.
Yeah.
So it's unlike anything that I've personally ever seen before. And Mark, I'm truly excited and honored to be a part of this, and I'm pumped up about it.
I love it. I could go on a bunch of tangents on the differences in mindset in business. One mindset is this: what's the most I can make? What's the most I can make and I can give the least? Okay, that's kind of the equation. What's the most I can make and give the least? Well, what we did with GRN is I've been studying, I'm always studying how to grow ideas, how to make distributors happy, how to make people more money. You can flip the equation and you say, what's the most we can pay and still be profitable? What's the most GRN can pay to distributors? And so what we looked at it, we said, what's the most we can charge and still be a good deal? And $49.95, you compare it to that $9,000 membership I saw in Waikiki, we're still a screaming deal. Screaming. And then at the same time, we are paying that 2K per sale and 2K pass up is just, it's unmatched for the value that we give in the product. It's such a unique situation. Eric, thanks for sharing, by the way. And the other thing, one last little thought, what you said is what I really liked, is you said people who can come up with 3K can come up with 5K. There's going to be people who absolutely cannot come up with 3K. They're never going to pay anyway. The people that actually can come up with 3K, which are way more than you think. I was talking to a 20-year-old who bought a $6,000 snowmobile this weekend. Grown adults can come up with 5K. It's not a big deal. But the people who can come up with 3, they can come up with 5, and you're going to get paid double the amount of value. It's going to cause people to become better salesmen. It's going to cause people to take their team more seriously, to take their ads more seriously, to take their craft more seriously. All right, everybody, let me just put a bow tie on this thing. Eric, thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. Thursday, December 15th, 2011. The price increases. This means there is a short little window to gobble up as many $29.95s as you want. So Platinum's going to $49.95. That means you have some time to change around any marketing that you need. Whatever. Get in, share the message. Listen, Glenn, Dee Dee, Adam, Michelle, Eric, other leaders, I tried to get on the call. It just didn't work with their schedule, so there was others that we could have heard from. But we are pumped to bring this to the marketplace. You're going to have more creative incentives that you can offer. You're going to have more surplus. You're going to be able to buy more stuff. You're going to be able to sell with more zoom and zing. I am absolutely thrilled for what this is going to do with Global Resorts Network. Thursday, December 15th, 2011. It's coming. All right. See you soon.